Right, good morning and welcome once again to another very interesting episode of Crossfire. My name is Dapo Banjo. This morning we're taking you through a very smooth ride as we bring you fantastic stories and get you informed and enlightened about what is happening in our society. Nigeria, it's a very big country. I say that all the time. We are big in both human, natural resources, intellectual capacity is nothing that you really want to compare us with. And this morning on Crossfire, we will do exactly what we normally do, and that is to ensure that we enlighten you and then update you about a lot of things going on in Nigeria. My name is Dapo Banjo again, and I have Ishoma Aga in the studio.
Good morning, Dapo. Good morning, Nigerians, and welcome to Crossfire.
Now, really and truly, I was very surprised, Ishoma, when someone told me that this is your natural hair. I mean,
Google it.
I mean, are you joking me?
Google it. I'll just type, is this Ishoma's hair? Whatever answer you get, that's it.
All right, let's start by telling you just a couple of stories that are making headlines, and then we'll go into a bit of analysis today. Our focus today, really and truly, if we have a guest in the studio, as we expect them to join us, it's a lot of, I think on this Thursday, there shouldn't be much traffic. Almost all our guests for the morning show today are running late.
But it's expected to have huge traffic.
What's the Thursday?
It's been raining almost all week. So
okay, that's true.
It's been raining almost all week.
All right, we're still expecting our guests for today's show, and they are coming from a very interesting organization in Nigeria called the EFCC, that's the Economic and Financial Crime Commission. And we'll be talking to them about, the anti-graft war, how much they have done, how much is left to be done. Are they getting judgment? Are people getting judgment, or they're getting justice? And then we will find out from them how exactly they intend to recover all the looted funds, that a lot of public office holders have taken over time. Anyway, the president is not really resting on his horse to ensure that all Nigerians' money that have been stolen are recovered. So before we do that, let's quickly talk about a couple of things that trended yesterday into this morning. Finally, the Inspector General of Police, the President Muhammadu Buhari, yesterday eventually, amidst a lot of other emissaries and representatives, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Assistant Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Potum Idris, and Inspector General of Police Idris hailed from Kutigi, Lavun in Niger State. He was born on the 15th of January 1959 and was enlisted into the Nigerian Police Force in 1984 after graduating from the Ahmadu University with a bachelor's degree in agriculture, and he also holds a degree in law from the University of Maiduguri. Now, Idris has served in various commands and formations in Nigerian Police Force. Now, working in the police mobile force for 17 years as a unit commander, squadron commander, and commandant. Now, he also served as Commissioner of Police in Nasarawa and Kano State, respectively, and was also the Commissioner of Police in charge of police mobile force for the force headquarters. Now, he was also at the United Nations mission in Liberia and East Timor and was awarded Medal of Merit by the President of the Republic of East Timor in recognition of his service. He succeeded the former Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase. All right, Ishoma.
Okay, and then the other story I have here is Lagos State to demolish illegal structures in Lekki, Ikoyi, and Victoria Island of Lagos State. Now, the Secretary to the Lagos State government, Mr. Tunji Bello, has insisted that the demolition of illegal structures in Ikoyi, Lekki, and Victoria Island will begin after September 11 deadline. Now, Mr. Bello, who is the chairman of the committee on the cleanup of the area, spoke with newsmen in Ikeja. Now, he said that residents who failed to make use of the window period offered to them by removing their illegal structures voluntarily will face the full force of the law. He said the modality have been put in place to ensure that the original master plan of these areas were maintained.
All right, we'll quickly proceed on our first break, and when we come back, we'll take you deep into some other stories that we have for you today, and we will just do that when we come back from this break. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back, and thanks for joining us. We're still on Crossfire. Myself and Ishoma, we're very present on set, and we've been trying as much as possible to just build up on the show. We told you earlier on when we started that we will be talking about the EFCC. Now, let's quickly give you an intro into what we'll be treating today. Anyway, almost all of us in Nigeria, we know about the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC. It's a Nigerian law enforcement agency that investigates financial crimes such as advanced free fraud, also known as 419, and money laundering. Now, the EFCC was established in 2003, partially in response to pressure from the Financial Action Task Force on Money Laundering, that is FATF, now which named Nigeria as one of the 23rd countries non-cooperative in the international community effort to fight money laundering. Now, the agency has its head office in Abuja. Now, some of the functions of the EFCC that we want the public to know is that the major functions are set out in the Enabling Act includes investigation of all financial crimes such as advanced free fraud, that's 419, money laundering, counterfeiting, illegal charge transfer, future market fraud, fraudulent enhancement of negotiable instrument of fraudulent diversion. That is if somebody gives you a bounce check or something. Then computer credit card fraud, contract scam, forgery of financial instruments, etc. If somebody give you a fake check and all of that. Adoption of measures to identify, trace, freeze, confiscate, or seize proceeds derived from terrorist activities, economic and financial crimes related offenses, or the properties, now the value of which correspond to such proceeds. They can also take that on. All right, that's just a brief history about the EFCC, and as a matter of fact, when the guests eventually join us, we'll be talking about it. Now, we're talking today, Ishoma, EFCC operation, judgment or justice. I mean, you are a lawyer. you can. I mean, what is judgment? What is justice? Let's just quickly look at that.
The truth is, the concept of justice differs from individual to individual. If I have a court case, and let's assume the both of us have a court case before an honorable judge, and we table our matters, facts and evidences are presented. Now, whatever judgment the court rules in my favor, to me it could be deemed as justice, and to you it could be misconception or miscarriage of justice. So, justice differs from individual to individual, and it differs also from clime to clime. As regards the activities of the EFCC, I want to believe that Nigerians have a lot of expectations on the EFCC, because not too long ago, informations were out there, people were asking questions that all the recovered loot funds which were recovered from, the former governor of Bayelsa State, the former governor of Delta State, some of these individuals, what have they done with these monies? But then a lot of people also forget that some of these monies are regulated also by law. In some cases, like the Tafa Balogun case, funds which were recovered from the former Inspector General of Police, Mr. Tafa Balogun, those funds were put in certain dedicated accounts to yield interest over time. But people are wondering, why don't you put these monies back into the society? Why can't the government use these funds to develop the country? Now we're in a recession. These funds will come in handy in various sectors, in various areas. For example, rather than the government going on to borrow funds to be able to support the 2016 budget. I mean, these funds can come in handy. So these are so many questions Nigerians are asking. And unfortunately, there has also been misinformations and misconceptions on the activities of the EFCC. So we hope these are some of the things no other person can answer but our guests. I mean, you don't expect me to answer that. I
exactly.
Don't want
anyway, we have a lot of questions to ask them when they eventually come in. But, something came up when the chairman of EFCC, Magu, came out, some time ago, not long from now, and he was talking that there's a clear, deviation from the operations of the Nigerian police and that of the EFCC. And you know that the EFCC, EFCC officials, or probably staff, they're actually
senior officials of the police
of the police force, and their primary responsibility is to investigate. And I was studying, and I discovered that they even have been empowered, like a clause in their act to prosecute when it is necessary. So they have the right to form, to come up with a body within the organization that is responsible for case prosecution in the court. Exactly. So now he was saying that the EFCC received, I mean, they got a thumbs up for having decent cells and also avoiding manhandling, avoiding manhandling of suspects, you know, especially when they get to their base, especially in the Lagos, you know, environment, and maybe in Abuja, and torturing of suspects. That they actually don't do that. They have a very systematic and psychedelic means of getting or extracting information from suspects instead of having to torture them. And you know, when the normal Nigerian police, you know, in the Nigerian
it has been alleged
when they torture you,
people
you will confess to a crime that you have not committed. You know?
Based on what people have said.
You know, so this is a positive record for Nigeria, which is dented image in terms of death in police cells and over the country. So, I mean, they have applause, and that goes really very handy, you know, for the EFCC. Now, but as a matter of fact, Ishoma, primary responsibility of the EFCC, one of their very core responsibility is to investigate crime. And I keep wondering, financial crimes, you know, and as a matter of fact, I'm beginning to wonder how, you know, how much that the EFCC have succeeded in doing over time. Anyway, this is your show. This is our show. Anytime you just feel like making a contribution as we talk about some of these topics, feel free to call us into the show and make your own contribution. Let's know exactly. Peradventure, you have had an experience with the Economic and Financial Crime Commission and you felt that you didn't get justice, but rather you got judgment for a crime that you didn't commit, or they just didn't prosecute your matter really very well. And you just want the public to know that their activities is not as, you know, top-notch as they claim, even though they've been getting a lot of, you know, thumbs up in recent times about their activities and all of that. So let's talk about the anti-graft war of the current administration, Ishoma. I haven't seen so much done by the agency. Maybe they've done a lot and they are not on the faces of the newspaper. And because, you know, even the media houses and journalists like us, we no longer get engaged in investigative journalism any longer. And so it's really, really mind-boggling to say, are they working? Or they stopped working. At a certain time, there was news all over the places. We had the we have the Arms Gate, you know, the Arms Deal Gate, you know, and we have not heard anything again. It looks as if, you know, Sabud and Suki,
I hope you know these cases are still in court.
I hope so.
Currently,
but why is it taking forever?
Well, the court is on recess right now.
If an individual
is on recess in Nigeria right now.
This is my concern. How come, you know, innocent Nigeria, maybe not innocent, but they are just individuals in the society that are not well recognized. They don't have names. They never held public offices. But, you know, they're just not popular. Somebody like me. How come what I get eventually is like judgment? I really don't get justice. But unfortunately, the big guys who actually have been involved in financial crime, even though they are public, they are known faces like the former NSA and so many other people who got involved in the, you know, in the Arms Deals Gate. But the unfortunate thing is that a lot of them seems to be getting away with it. Meanwhile, supposedly ordinary Nigerians, when they get to the coffers of the EFCC, in fact, they make their life more miserable, you know, than usual. So some set of people get judgment, while some people get justice.
I remember on CrossFire, we had a guest who talked about this, and even on various platforms, people have been talking that, you know, trying to draw the attention of the National Assembly to enact certain laws that public office holders who have been found guilty of corruption charges or money laundering charges should face certain penalties, and some of those, you know, penalties included being banned from politics for I think about 10 years, for feature of certain percentage, you know, of their assets and all of that, and which for a lot of people they believe that this will go a long way, you know, in cutting corruption in the country, particularly corruption perpetrated by public office holders. But the truth is, when it comes to anti-graft, to the anti-graft and to corruption-related cases, a judge cannot sit down and manufacture a certain sentence and give to that individual. He has to work with the laid-down law, with the laid-down rules and principles before him. So if Nigerians want to see these individuals languishing in jail, paying for the crimes they have committed against the Nigerian state and against the Nigerian people, we, at the end of the day, have to draw the attention to, we have to draw the attention of the lawmakers. All these rests and ends on their table. If nothing is done to amend some of these laws and ensure that we have stiffer punishment for these individuals, the judge cannot be a magician. He cannot be a Father Christmas. So we have to still emphasize that the laws are rigid.
Okay, fine. That's an angle to it. Another very interesting angle to it is that why are, and it seems to be playing into our head.
Why you're asking all these questions.
No, why are court cases, forever? It just appears as if when you get to the court, you are doomed. You are going to be there maybe until the judge is removed or the judge dies.
I have said this already on CrossFire, I think 2 weeks ago. It is simple. We need to pay more attention to the judiciary.
Maybe we don't have enough judges or something.
Let me commend the Attorney General of the Federation.
Okay.
He seems to be coming up with amazing ideas which we believe he can also improve on and then ensure that things are done speedily. And also the committee on judicial reform in Nigeria. But then when you look at political office holders, you have a senator who has a PA, and that PA has several PAs. You have them, you have the president has a lot of special advisors here and there, and a lot of people are wondering. But then the judiciary is one of the most important arms of government. And we have said that, look, these judges are overwhelmed.
Okay.
So they need also to have a huge legal team working with them, on the payroll certainly of the government, so that they can be able to discharge their duties. The judge, it's unfair. I believe it is unfair on a judge who, after sitting down, maybe he has 30 cases on his cost list for the day, and he has to go back to his chamber, sit down and read, take each case one after the other. How do you expect that individual to function?
Yeah.
In advanced crimes, that judge has a team.
Okay.
A team of lawyers, a team of fans.
Hold on to your thoughts. Hold on to your thoughts, Ishoma. Let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning, John. How are you today?
I'm fine. All
right, great. Let's take your contribution quickly.
Come again?
Let's take your contribution.
Okay. About the EFCC operation.
All right.
I think that office was formerly with the police.
I think it's still with the police.
Special unit with the police.
Yes.
But it was created in 2003 by President OBJ. And about Bayelsa, I think that money has been returned to Bayelsa state government. The money recovered from Alamesia, it was returned. Yeah. And that of Tafa Balogun. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
We're listening to you.
And that of Tafa Balogun. The money, it was reported that was in the hands of Afshare then.
Yeah.
We don't know how that money goes.
The money, some of those monies are in interest-yielding accounts.
No, anyway, John, these are some of the questions we want to ask the EFCC officials. Recovered stolen funds and properties and all of that, how are they treated? Who do they give account to? Where does it go to? Do they return it to government? Are they kept in a bank, a special, bank account on behalf of the EFCC or on behalf of the federal government? These are some of the questions we'll be asking the EFCC officials when they come. Hopefully, traffic will allow them get here. All right, Ishoma, now, this is another question I want to ask. Now, the point here is that we have a lot of cases in court. It's not enough for you to just, they're all granted bail. And after being granted bail, they live a normal life. And then court keeps adjourning. Maybe twice in a year he appears. Maybe the next year he's going to appear only once. Maybe in another year he's not going to appear at all. I want to believe that the courts are overwhelmed, because we have a lot of cases. It's not only EFCC cases. We have litigations there and there, land matters and all of that now. But the point is just that who is contributing to the bottleneck or the operations of the EFCC that is not making it really, really, to be as expected. People expect to have heard something very concrete about Sabo Danzuki by now, Alex Bade by now, Hamosu by now. But when we don't seem to be hearing anything, and these people are already out on bail. Now, my concern is that, is it the court that is making the work of the EFCC difficult, or is just the EFCC that are really very docile about their operation?
I recall the Presidential Committee on Judicial Reforms, headed by Professor Isse Sage.
Okay.
Early this year, I believe early this year, he came out to say that, look, as part of the reforms to reform the judiciary, there should be special courts to try criminal-related financial crimes and all that allied matters. True or false? But when you look at the hierarchy, when you look at the hierarchy of the courts, we don't have that yet. So we need, the National Assembly to be able to make these amendments, because all of this starts and ends on the laws, all of this starts and ends in the Constitution. Let us have these amendments done so that we can, be able to free, these judges, so that they can have special judges who are specially trained in these matters, who have forensic, evidences and all of that, which is beautiful, which is fantastic, which we have in other advanced crimes. But every day, what do we see on the pages of the paper?
I think the only few set of lawyers who actually prosecute, are not defending.
This should tell you,
more than 90% of Nigerian lawyers defend and they don't prosecute. Maybe just a few of them who work with the EFCC, ICPC are really, prosecuting lawyers because they really want people to be punished for a crime that has been established, committed because of evidences and all that.
So when people say this government is not committed, the presidency is not committed to fighting corruption, it makes me laugh, because if you take your time to find, if people take time to find out some of these informations out there, they will see that the government truly is ready to fight corruption. Okay. But then there are certain legal bottlenecks,
Legal? Did you say legal?
Legal bottlenecks by provision of the law, by provision of existing laws, which are hindering them in that fight. And until these bottlenecks are broken, nothing can happen.
Okay, but knowing fully well how court operates, evidences are brought in to be able to prosecute someone has committed a crime. Now, when EFCC has not done a proper investigation, if they have not, by the time they get to court, the courts have a tendency of bouncing them back and saying, no, you don't have enough evidences to actually convict this person. So if you think this person has stolen...
But we've said that even the EFCC themselves, they are overwhelmed. True or false?
No, the court is overwhelmed, the EFCC is overwhelmed. So all of this anti-graft war is just...
That the EFCC, the ICPC, they do not just, handle corruption cases of public office holders. Even the, in quotes, the Yahoo person or the bank-related frauds committed by private individuals are all under the purview. Okay. So whilst they're facing the Dasukis and the Halliburton cases, the Siemens cases and all of that, they're also facing corruption cases, money laundering cases of everyday Nigerians.
Okay, Ishama, I have a question for you. A legal question. I mean, almost all the questions I've been asking you. You are learned. I'm educated.
You're learned.
Yeah, very learned. But the point is it legal? Is it legal to actually prosecute a public office holder in a public court? Well publicized, that this person is actually facing trial, like we did for the president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki. We all saw pictures of how he was visiting regularly the CCT while he was being prosecuted. So it's legal.
What is wrong in doing
It's legal. Okay. All right. We'll bring you more stories on this when we come back from this short break, and we hopefully will be bringing in our guests by then. We'll be right back after this.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.